Welcome back to the number one running back in fantasy football. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football Free for All. This is Week 9 injury report. Woo-wee! We're almost there. We are over halfway through the season and things are heating up. We've got teams that are showing what they can do and others that are absolutely imploding. Here's looking at you, Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, starting with the Seahawks. Our biggest injuries are at running back. Carlos Hyde, out. Chris Carson, out. That makes DJ Dallas a must start. Travis Homer is possibly going to play, but I'm not really giving that any credence. DJ Dallas did enough last week to secure the number one and to secure a spot in your fantasy roster. Over on the Bills, we just have tons and tons of defensive injuries still. The offense looks relatively healthy. You're going with Zach Moss this week over Devin Singletary. So just, other than the kind of defensive injuries, you're just playing your Bills as you would. Ravens at Colts. Mark Ingram is doubtful. That means he's not going to play. What we saw last week is J.K. Dobbins and Edwards kind of split the carries. Gus Edwards was more of your red zone back, and he got a score, whereas, between the tackles, between the 20s, J.K. Dobbins was the guy. For the Colts, T.Y. Hilton, unlikely to play. Mo Alley-Cox and Marcus Johnson are both questionable. By now, you know the deal. Your T.Y. Hilton probably shouldn't even be on your roster. Dump him. Move on. Let's go. Mo Alley-Cox, he's let a little bit go to Trey Burton because of this injury. I'm not really excited about Mo Alley-Cox this week. I think Trey Burton's a better start, but honestly, I wouldn't even go in near this game. The Ravens defense has shown that they're able to kind of put the kibosh on any team. So I would be avoiding your Colts this week. Texans at Jaguars. The Texans are relatively healthy. They've got a little bit of defensive injuries. We don't think the team's that good. I think that this is a week, though, that they have a bounce back statistically. I like Will Fuller. I like David Johnson. I like Deshaun Watson. You're going to start all of them against this really terrible Jacksonville Jaguars team. On the other side, man, Gardner Minshew's out. I was a high proponent for Gardner Minshew this year, but with 3 fractures in his thumb, he clearly cannot control the ball the same way this one would hope. This drops the value of every single Jacksonville Jaguars piece with the exception of James Robinson. They're going to have to run the ball. He's going to be the primary carrier. You're going to start him, and that's about it. Bears at Titans. There are a couple defensive injuries for the Bears. But remember, this is still a very stout squad and really, really limits air yards to receivers. On the Titans, Clowney's questionable, Adam Humphries is out, and then there's some defensive players that are out as well. This is going to be a Derrick Henry day. You're going to start Derrick Henry because you have to. I think Ryan Tannehill's going to have some middling numbers. I don't think he's a quarterback one this week. I also don't love Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, or A.J. Brown. I think that this Chicago Bears defense is stout, and we will see a restriction on those air yards. For the Bears, David Montgomery, he just still hasn't proven much to us. It's a good matchup. The Titans defense is allowing a lot. Allen Robinson is also a good play this week. Nick Foles, he's like Ryan Tannehill. Neither of them are fantasy starters this week. Panthers at Chiefs. Welcome back, Christian McCaffrey. Oh, the fantasy gods look down on us. It's going to be a great day. First against the Chiefs. This Chiefs defense is not that good. Christian McCaffrey is a stud. We should see huge production. Plus, they're going to be down, so they're going to use their most dynamic players. I don't care if they are down by 54 points. They're still going to get Christian McCaffrey the rock, and you're still going to win those fantasy points. On the other side, we've got Sammy Watkins, who is going to be back, but I'm not going to be playing him. That hamstring injury has clearly been very substantial and is going to keep him limited this game. Frank Clark is questionable and Mitchell Schwartz is out. Listen, this Kansas City Chiefs team is trying to make a run, trying to repeat the Super Bowl. They have all the weapons. They have an okay defense. And so anybody who's putting money down, you're obviously putting it on the Chiefs, but the Panthers also have an okay team. I think DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both starters this week. Mike Davis, I want to see what happens. I think that we might see a little bit more Mike Davis action than we anticipate. That doesn't detract, though, from the fact that Christian McCaffrey is a fantasy superstar. Lions at Vikings. The Lions are absolutely mangled this week. With Matthew Stafford not getting any practice, being on the COVID list, and Kenny Golladay and Jamal Agnew not likely to play, who's going to be doing anything for him? I guess maybe this is another big game for Marvin Jones and TJ Hawkinson, but I don't love it. I don't want anything to do with this Lions team, and Swift might be the best start this week, but if that's your best start, don't love it. Vikings, the defense obviously has been an issue all season. It'll be a defensive game again where they are lacking. This is going to be a problem. The Vikings defense is in tatters. All of their cornerbacks are hurt. If Stafford plays, I look for him to be able to exploit this absolutely middling defense. Ugh, it sucks. But Justin Jefferson is going to be a fantasy stud this week. I think they're going to throw a lot at him. It is going to be Dalvin Cook, Jefferson. Dalvin Cook, Jefferson. Broncos at Falcons. AJ Boye's out. Bryce Callahan, Phillip Lindsay, Trey Marshall, Tim Patrick, Nick Vannett. They're all listed as questionable. Tim Patrick and Phillip Lindsay are interesting plays, but I am worried about both of them. I think we see a really substantial bump to Jerry Jeudy. Drew Lock needs to get Jerry Jeudy going, and we're going to see it. I think he's going to really show that he can do it. On the other side, Dante Fowler, Jordan Miller are both out. What we've got is Calvin Ridley. He is questionable. He was out last week after having an okay performance, but listen, he is clearly dealing with a more substantial injury than they are letting on. This has been a nagging injury. That sees huge increases to the production for Julio Jones. This secondary is nothing special. Julio Jones should absolutely eat them. He's got to be a start. The run defense for Denver's a little more stout, and Todd Gurley has been really unimpressive. I think that the player that you're going for is Julio, and then you would consider Hayden Hurst if Ridley doesn't play, because he'll see a slight uptick. I'm not going Gage. I know that they can sustain multiple fronts here, but that's not where I'm interested. Raiders at Chargers. Josh Jacobs is hurt with a knee and an illness. He's questionable to play. I'm a little worried, but he's a game-time decision. On the Chargers side of the ball, none of their key pieces other than Joey Bosa are really injured. This could be a sneaky high-scoring game because the Raiders are better than a lot of people are giving them credit for, but so are the Chargers. I don't think either defense is super tough, so I think we're going to see a lot of yards through the air. It's going to be a really interesting one. I'm hedging up on the over on this game, and I'm excited to see what Keenan Allen and Mike Williams do this week. Steelers at Cowboys. I don't even know why we're talking about the Cowboys anymore. That team is toast. Toast. What we've got, though, is Ezekiel Elliott is on the injury report. He's got a hamstring injury, and that might keep him out this week. Tony Pollard would be a reasonable start when this game gets out of hand. On the other side, we have a couple of Vance McDonald illness, but every one of the starters is going to play. We're going to see the Steelers get up big, and then they're just going to run the ball right up the gut. That's what's going to happen here. This game isn't going to be close. It's not even worth a look. You're starting your Steelers, and you're trying to get out of the Cowboys business. Dolphins at Cardinals. Breida is out, and so I guess you're starting Jordan Howard. Patrick Laird's the other option. I don't love either of them, but the thing is, the Cardinals can be had. With Tua in his third game and Preston Williams and Devontae Parker kind of starting to come on, one of these running backs is going to have a day. It's just who? On the Cardinals side of the ball, Kenyon Drake won't play. That makes Chase Edmonds a must start. He's shown that he can do it. So get him in your lineup. Don't screw around with this. Get him in your lineup now. Drew Brees and Mike Thomas are both game times decision. All right. So probably the marquee game of this week. Saints at Buccaneers, the repeat. Drew Brees and Mike Thomas, both on the injury report. Both game time decisions. If both of these players don't play, this game gets out of hand. Jameis Winston has not had a snap because there is no offseason. This team is devoid of pass catchers. So you've got to watch this one like a hawk. Alvin Kamara is a must start no matter who's under center. But this could be the end for the Saints. For the Buccaneers, Antonio Brown in your lineup. Chris Godwin is out this week. We don't know when he's going to return. It's going to be interesting to see what type of involvement he really has. Here's hoping that Antonio Brown goes back to his 2016-2017 form and Tom Brady can just make him look like what he was. I'm a little skeptical. Like I said in my earlier report when we thought he was going to Seattle, I'm giving him till week 10. I want to see this week. I want to see next week. We'll know what it is when that happens. I am fading Mike Evans because of this. Mike Evans is just not going to see the target share that he wants. I'm not sure what they're thinking here. Honestly, it's been very confusing. But Antonio Brown needs to be somebody that is rostered in all leagues, and he may need to be started this week. This is our Week 9 injury report coverage. Thanks for watching Fantasy Football Free for All. Please like, comment, and subscribe.